It's no secret that video content needs to be a part of your 2023 marketing strategy. And so as a video marketing coach, I'm going to be sharing my 2023 predictions that you should be keeping at the top of mind when creating your content in the new year. And be sure to stay till the end because I'm going to be sharing kind of an inside look into what I'm implementing differently in my own marketing strategy. So the first prediction is a shift in the type of content we're creating. In the past few years, we've really seen a shift into more entertaining content, but now I'm seeing it shift back into more educational content. So we all know trending culture on Reels and TikTok, and I definitely see this fading away a lot into 2023. This doesn't need to even be a part of your strategy. And that type of content really leaned into entertainment, right? We had lip syncs, we had fancy transitions, we had skits that really were catered to creating kind of entertaining, maybe slightly educational content. But now, as we move into this new stage of the online space, your content needs to be valuable at the first and foremost center of everything you're creating. I have a podcast episode coming up that's going to dive a lot deeper into why trends are completely out because there's really a lot to unpack here. But at the end of the day, people want to connect with brands and creators. They don't want to just follow trending content. And quite literally, as we go into 2023, people are overhearing and seeing these same things repeated. So you really want to lean into more of the education side of your content. So what does this look like? This could be more talking to camera content. This could be demonstrations on how to use your product or how to do something. Or this could be very digestible quote videos that have text on them and offer a quick tip, hack, or perspective change. In addition to this type of educational content, specifically with talking style videos, there really is a resurgence of very dynamic captions when editing your content. Not only does this make repurposing, for example, a talking video to TikTok a lot easier to put it on a reel, but it makes it a lot more engaging. I personally have been loving the Captions app, and not only is it very accurate, but it has the ability to add a lot of different styles that make your text just more engaging, but it also adds the option where you can add emphasis on specific words. So it really makes it easier to not only create this type of educational content, but to actually make it worth people's while. It's really important with any type of educational content, though, the education has to be good. So make sure you're adding that little win, that little shift, that little transformation that's going to essentially leave your audience better than you found them with your piece of content. Adding something like dynamic captions is just like a cherry on top of your video. Now on to my next prediction, which is what I'm calling rebel content. This essentially is leaning into my overarching prediction that trends are out when it comes to TikTok and Reels. And this really means stepping outside of the box of what we think we're expected to post for our specific industry or what the algorithm has been preferring for us to post. I often hear people saying they're feeling forced to post trends, they're feeling forced to post Reels, when I think going into 2023 that creating your own path, your own way, and adding in a little bit more experimentation could actually be just as beneficial for you. So what does this type of rebel content mean? This means a lot of experimentation. So testing out new formats, new ways of editing, new ways of organizing your ideas into video content. This also means using your own audios, whether it's making your own original audio, whether it's using something like a voiceover, or simply using a music you want to use, not just what's trending. Of course, trending audios are going to be beneficial for you in terms of your reach, but I don't think they're going to be as much of a non-negotiable going into 2023. So just use your favorite song or a song that feels on brand or like it makes sense with the content you're posting. All in all, rebel content means just posting content you want to post, not what you think the apps want you to create. So what brings more joy and fun into your content strategy? And how can you just do things a little bit different? Keep in mind, this rebel content might be stuff you're not seeing other people in your industry or niche doing, which means it's going to be even more valuable to help you stand out among all the video noise. And now on to another prediction, which is comfort creators. So this was something that we saw the emergence of over the past few years of essentially people that are using social media apps gravitating towards specific creators that essentially just have an essence of comfort. Like, you're just going to feel real good, warm and fuzzy when you go to your favorite creator's page. And during the trying times that we had over the past year, this entertainment and comfort content has really resonated. But now I see this shift of what essentially has done really well for comfort creators applying to brands and small businesses as well. So what does this look like? This looks like longer, chatty, more casual vlog style content. For example, instead of just talking to camera, maybe it's talking while you're doing a process or going for a walk. This also could mean things like series. So essentially, instead of just posting about an idea once, you're going to follow a similar structure or topic cadence and continually add multiple parts to a series. Not only does this help with engagement and it really saves you time in terms of generating new content ideas, but your audience knows what they can continue to come back for. And just that expectation makes them feel comforted. This also means building relationships with your community and knowing that you're not going to be for everyone. It's okay to have things that just connect with the ideal people you want to have in your audience, because you're going to build even deeper relationships with them versus just creating like meh relationships with a bigger audience. This is really focusing on the quality of the people in your community and how we can be that comfort creator for them as a small business and brand. What's going to keep them coming back to your page and your content? And this also comes down to brands needing to have a human connection point in their content. People want to see the founder, the team, the customers, the clients, whoever is a part of your brand. People want to see that in your content. They don't want to just see perfectly shot photos or graphics. And so with this shift towards more education over entertaining content, really rebel content that's leaning into your own unique way of creating, or that comfort creator, which essentially is building deeper relationships with your audience, there really is a common theme that I really want you to take home from my 2023 predictions. You need to be posting less trends with little to no creativity that's repetitive, that isn't original to you, and instead you want to fully be leaning into original content, specifically with short form video. This essentially is creating content that doesn't need to follow a trend, but essentially it can be telling a story. It can be talking and adding value. It can be adding a bite-sized quote to a piece of video content. This allows you to create evergreen content that essentially just doesn't go out of date really fast. And it means that you can easily repurpose and leverage all the types of video platforms into 2023. And so now that we've covered my predictions for the year, I want to specifically talk about my marketing strategy. What am I keeping and really focusing on into the new year? So if you go over to my Instagram specifically, you'll see a really big shift in the type of reels I was creating at the beginning of 2022 to what I was creating at the end of the year. So for me, my easiest and most impactful type of content at the beginning of the year was trends, putting my own spin on it, choosing the ones that felt the most relevant to my brand and kind of calling it a day and trying to lean into them as soon as they were trending. But as the year went on, I really was focusing on how I can lean into the lowest lift possible content, but really focus on original videos, which is like essentially my prediction for the next year. And so what I was really focusing on is stockpiling multi-use footage, which is my plan into the new year. I already have months worth from my recent brand shoot and shoots I've done at home, shoots I've done with friends, and just stock content I've gotten into the habit of capturing on a regular basis. So this also leans into my own marketing strategy of wanting to be smarter with how I'm repurposing. So by creating stuff that's not based on trends, I can post more consistently on platforms like YouTube Shorts or TikTok, so I can really get the most out of short form video while it's continuing to boom. Another part of my strategy is turning content that isn't video into video content. An example of this has been for my podcast. So not only have I been turning podcast episodes just like this one into YouTube videos, but I've also been taking snippets from that YouTube video or even just the an audio snippet of a podcast episode. And essentially, I've been turning those all into short form video content. Yes, to promote the podcast, but also just to add value and allow me to be present on a lot of different platforms and make sure that I'm not just posting graphics talking about a podcast episode when video has really been what's performing well in 2022 and what I'm going to fully be leaning into when it comes to platforms like my podcast or even YouTube. Another thing, circling back to repurposing, is I really would like to use lives more. I feel like there's such a valuable real estate on Instagram, but I find that like people aren't using them as much, which means there's a lot less saturation in terms of the little bubbles of people that are going live. So my goal is to take topics that have performed well in other places, turn those into lives, maybe even go live while I'm doing podcast episodes or different things like that. And not only going live, sharing the replay, but taking video snippets from that live and turning them into short form video. So essentially just more short form video. And another thing that has nothing to do with video is actually carousels. So carousels are really seeing a resurgence. I did an entire YouTube video on this about kind of the timeline of video on Instagram and how while short form video is still at the top, carousels are starting to trend upwards. And I've really seen that in my own insights and analytics. And so not only do I think that like really builds out your profile experience. So if I'm getting discovered from my reels, that carousels are another really great thing for people to binge, but it's also a great thing that I can pin on the top of my profile. But I've really enjoyed using carousels as not only a tool for repurposing videos that perform well or topics that perform well, but also for essentially testing out topics that I'm going to use in other types of video content. And something that's more on like the conversion and sales side of my launches that I have planned for this year for my signature program, the Video Content Camp, and my mastermind is to test out DM automation. So I'm going to be testing this out, and I probably will do some more content sharing a little bit more about what I think and how it's going, because I'm like literally testing this out as you're watching this, but go ahead and see how it works. So go over to my Instagram and DM me challenge to see one of the DM automations that I'm going to be playing around with for my launches, for my freebies. So essentially just adding a different call to action in all of my video content. So in my stories, in my lives, in my reels, I'm going to be encouraging people to DM me or comment or reply with a key word like the word challenge, which you can go DM me right now to just see how it works. And I'm really excited to see how this is going to support our launches and sales efforts. So I will keep you posted on that. All in all, 2023 is going to be the year of smarter, original video content that is a lot simpler and easier to essentially get the most bang for your buck when creating your video content. So if all my predictions resonated with you and you're wanting to leverage it in your own video marketing strategy, I highly recommend looking into my group coaching program, the Video Content Camp, where I show you exactly how to see growth in your video confidence, your community, and your sales, all with simpler video content. So I've linked all the details, and I'll see you in the next podcast episode.